Hello, I'm back. So today's video's topic is going to be video games and why I don't really play single player games anymore. So basically, I grew up on games, like Far Cry's and Assassin's Creed's and Saints Rows and all those games, right? And at that time, I really enjoyed those games. Those games were like one of the fun ones, where you can like shoot people and stuff, and story wise was really good when it comes to like games right there. Like Scyther was like fucking goofy, crazy, kind of game, right? So when you think about it, all those games now are basically lost. That oomph and that experience you gain from playing those games are gone. New like Scyther games sucked, flopped. Assassin's Creed games, few new Assassin's Creed games flopped because they went from look at this, somewhat of a historical game mixed with assassins doing crazy jumps and kills and amazing fucking you know parkour um, gameplay was great. I loved it. Like the leap of faith was somewhat thing that you look forward to. It was just stupid going up to the tallest building, but that leap of faith was worth it. Anyway, and like now, like there isn't even anything, man. You can't even enjoy those games anymore because it's lazy, virtue signaling, all this random political bullshit that goes in, and then bunch of budgets. There is like billions of budget. On top of that, then you are like, hello, how about now? Just do it until this and that time, and deadline is so short that game developers not have enough time to fully make the game. So game has a bunch of bugs and glitches and everything in the beginning of the game's release. People are outraged. Gameplay, okay, fine, I can handle few logs, but then the gameplay is ass. The game itself is dookie. So you're left with this situation. That what's the worst part about it is like they rise the fall freaking price is so high that you're like, oh, hello, look at this game that we, made. That what the craziest part is like back in the day, the games were like at least like 20 gigabytes max or 40 gigabytes max, right? Now 200, 500 megabytes of games. Like, what PC has that much like space when it comes to like playing games? I understand there are people who put like terabytes and stuff in their PCs, but even then, like you need to download multiple games, right? You can't really have like new Call of Duty which has 500 gigabytes and then on top of 500 gigabytes you put more games into it. You can't really do that, right? Which even less accessible for people who are into this casual gaming and doesn't have like high-end gaming PC, right? There's also another problem is where you're like the prices. You can't tell me that a freaking game that is buggy, doesn't work well, and you telling me that, hey, how about you pay $70, $80, $60 for it, and then you're like, are you tripping? Because what kind of sane person will pay that much money? Well, you can get on a discounted at some point in your life, right? That's why people don't really buy it. That's why I used to, as a kid, pirate games. And that time, the games were cheap. So that's crazy. The games are so bad now. You won't even like bother to figure out how to pirate the games. Back in the day, you would just wait for a few days to download the game. Like, so my internet was just horrible. My PC was not as good, but good enough that most games was on a high graphics, but like one time I downloaded GTA 5 right when it came out. It was like few years since it came out, right? And it took a 3 day to download the game, but it was worth it because the game was made well. Like, come on, man. So yeah, also like That's interesting how like in money hungry corporations do this and gets away with it. Like Call of Duty, like this few Call of Duty that came out sucks, but they know that it's gonna sell no matter what. As long as you slap the name Call of Duty, it's gonna sell. The same with Nintendo with Pokemon. As long as they, put a Pokemon name on it, it doesn't really matter if it's the same game as before. It's just a few tweaks in it. And then now the whole panel with like Nintendo 2 is like, hey, you know what we're gonna do? Guess what? We're gonna charge you $70 and $80 for a game. And you have to expect that because, we're Nintendo and nobody gives a shit about your pocket as much as we get money. As long as we get money, we don't really give a shit. So now you're like, okay, buddy, now what? I want to play games, but I can't now because most of the games are expensive and I don't really own it. Most companies like give you a permission to play it, but they can easily, anyway, anytime, any thing that happens to them and decide, fuck this game. They can easily just wipe it out. You're not gonna have that game anymore. So yeah, that's my idea about nowadays. But considering like, do you know why there's difference between triple A games and indie games? Triple A games do it for money. The indie games are doing it for passion. They have passion. They want to make it. Like most games are made by one or two games, one or two developers. When it comes to indie games, even Schedule One is such a thing, such a like successful game with all this, from YouTubers to streamers to everyone is playing it, enjoying it, sharing their thoughts about it and everything, right? Like, and it's around $10, I think, yeah, and it's like made by one guy who was passionate about making a game about drug fucking empire, and now you're like, wow. You see, if you put a passion and effort into the game and not rush, not put bunch of money for no reason, and then either delay the game and still is bad, or just release it early and still bad. It's like, and then you put a price is like insane. So that's technically what my idea about video games nowadays is, and why most games flop, and why nobody really leans into that single player game, you know, train. When like back in the day, nobody really usually played online games. The only online game was played was World of Warcraft, COD at my time. I mean, Overwatch, but it was not as mainstream. Like people won't just come up to me and be like, "Hey, you wanna play an online game?" No, do you have this game like Assassin's Creed or something, and you wanna share that game experience with me kind of situation. Anyway, long story short, that's my thoughts. If you wanna give me your thoughts, you can put it in comments. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, to the loo or whatever. I know I haven't thought of intro, get outro.